Hey there, TCH here with Technological Gadgets, bringing you the best in tech and making it work for you. On this channel, we usually do some tech reviews, but sometimes we show you other people's setups, and in this video in particular, we are going to be showing you a setup from Jimmy Tries World, another tech YouTuber, and apparently how he makes his sort of small minimal desk setup from working from home and gaming as well. So let's see how his setup looks like and what he puts in his setup. So if you like these types of videos, make sure to drop me a like to let me know. Comment down below whose setup you'd like us to check out next, and we will be sure to do so. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you'd like to help support me and the channel completely for free. But without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Since the first day my wife and I moved into this house, we've been holding back on making this flex room something special. It unofficially became our clutter room. Don't have a spot for an item, it goes into the clutter room. Too many extra blankets in the house? The clutter room. Unopened Amazon packages? As you probably guessed, clutter room. This room was a mess. At least until, well, now. We spent the last 3 months changing this room up how we know best. For me, that meant shoving as much tech as I can into it. My only requirement was to fit a desk and add some tech into it. And this is what I came up with.
Oh, that's actually a pretty nice setup.
First, I want to point out that the purpose...
Wow, that actually looks like a pretty nice, compact setup for especially people who don't have a lot of spaces. Maybe dorm rooms and stuff like that. This could work a lot.
Let's get started with the little tour. First, I want to point out that the purpose of this video is to showcase what I came up with, give you guys some inspiration for laying out your own desks, and walk you through some of the pain points of putting this desk setup together. If you want to see how we came to the choices or how we put this entire room together instead of, just the desk, check out my wife's video up here. Well, up here. That video would have a lot more information on it. My main focus today is more about this desk and the tech aspects of this room. Either way, we wanted to turn this room into
we're more concerned about the desk, so there you go.
While maintaining whatever pieces we can, because we all know things cost money. And when you start spending money on tech and furniture, that's when it starts to get really expensive and not so fun on your wallet. So of course, I was in charge of teching it out. So my tech focus for this room was this. We needed this room to be smart. The idea is to be able to automate whatever we can within reason. We also needed dedicated desk space to finally make a nice home for the gaming PC I built nearly a year ago that still hasn't found a permanent spot in this house. And the desk should function as a secondary workspace just in case the studio is too cluttered with filming gear to properly use, or just in case I want a change of scenery. And lastly, the desk has to be
understandable,
or at least clean enough that the cables and messes don't make the space feel cluttered, because with the space we had to work with, we already knew the desk was going to be small. Since we're keeping our major furniture pieces, like the TV and the sectional that literally takes up 40% of the room, the desk would have to be with some compromises if we wanted it to fit in this room. On this wall, the desk is neatly tucked away, but when in use, can block someone from entering through the door. That's a compromise we were willing to live with. If we wanted to put it on any other wall, it would be even more cramped, and that ended up being the best solution. Will I regret that decision? Time will tell, but honestly, I'm already a little annoyed with it. The desk had to match the theme of the rest of the room. Natural wood, white, and dark neutrals, like a dark gray or black. And because I loved having the stained butcher block countertop on the standing desk in the studio, we repeated the process by buying a butcher block countertop from Lowe's, and rather than stain it, we cut it down to our desired size, sanded it down, and applied some matte polyurethane, giving it this nice natural look to it that matches the rest of the decor in the room. It was my first time sanding it and coating it myself, and there are some imperfections in it, but I think it ended up really good.
In my opinion, it looks really good.
Some cheap standing desk legs off Amazon, and I reused some monitors that were luckily both the same size. Because this desk would be used for both video work and gaming, a 1440p 144Hz monitor and 4K monitor combo gives us the best of both worlds. Now, this next fact is unintentional, but I've been buying LG monitors, and luckily the front of most LG monitors look the same. So aesthetically, they mostly match. Just don't look behind them. They look a little mismatched, and I'd like to hide that fact from people.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
The monitors are mounted on Vivo monitor stands straight off the most exclusive, fanciest retailer on the internet,
Amazon.
And the Shure MV7X microphone is mounted on a blue Compass mic arm.
Okay,
I don't really
pretty
like
nice.
the look of typical mic arms because they look really busy. But the blue
I
compass,
mean, I
which
have
only
one, so
minimally
there you
hides
go.
most of the cables that run from a mic.
If you want
down
it more
the length of
cleaner,
the arm.
yeah.
Cables for everything used on the desk is mounted to the underside of the desk using these
Okay,
cable
okay,
organizers
that's pretty
with
nice.
adhesive backing. The complex
Pretty
part
good
of
cable
management
management.
for a standing desk is that you need to make sure that everything stays on the desk and isn't yanked by the desk when you increase the height. So you really only have two different options to go around this issue. The first one is make sure all your cables are long enough to be plugged into the ground at standing height. This could make a huge cable mess on the bottom of the desk,
yeah,
but at
definitely.
least your monitors won't be yanked off the desk. Or the second option is to stick a power strip with the long power cord to the bottom of the desk and plug everything into that.
I think that
stuck
would be
my
more
power strip down
practical.
with some double-sided tape and used a ton of cable organizers to keep the cables in check. At this point, you may be thinking, that's a nice desk, but there's no PC in sight. The PC is actually on the other side of the room by the TV. But how did it get over there? And why did we put it over there? Well, if you think about it, since this desk is so small, if we wanted to put the computer on there, it would make the desk space way too cramped. And ideally, you don't want to place the computer on the ground either. So this entire space over here was a complete no-go. And it's such a pretty computer with rainbow puke all over the fans. So it ended up being in the area of the room where it can be on display, and because it's not near the desk, it increases the amount of usable space on and underneath the desk.
I understand.
Spread my legs. Not in that way. Sorry, that sounded really terrible and really...
Yeah, but I get what he means.
Thanks to the massive sectional taking up this entire wall, we were able to basically hide the cables by routing it behind the desk all around the sectional.
I guess this is
because of that, we had to
not
purchase
that bad of a way.
cables that were 40 feet long. Yeah. That extra zero is on purpose. But because the PC was over on the other side of the room now, it created a completely new issue. How would I plug in any devices I wanted to use, like a keyboard, a mouse, a microphone, or flash drive? Our solution was actually the same way we solved the display problem. We used a really long USB 3 extension cable coupled with a USB 3 hub.
Okay, I guess this kind of works.
Honestly worked well. It did make the desk slightly more messy, but better than walking over to the other side of the room just to plug things in than walking back all the way to the desk.
I guess so.
And again, this is a gaming and secondary workspace, so we wanted the ability to swap peripherals fast. I finished the desk off with the Orbit Key desk mat, which I think matches the vibe of this room perfectly.
Okay,
Also,
that looks
has a
pretty
really
nice.
cool magnetic cable hook in case I have a cable I need tied down. In terms of peripherals, I don't want to delve into those too much since I swap them depending on what type of thing I'm working on. If I'm playing games, it's one type. If I'm working, it's another. I'll be showing screenshots and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that
that is a really good keyboard. That is a really good keyboard.
one type. If I'm
The
working, it's
G915
another.
TKL.
I'll be showing screenshots and stuff.
Oh, this one is really good. I don't know why does he pair this with the G15 TKL. Can't he just get the G Pro wireless or the G Pro X Superlight? I think that would pair better with the G915 TKL.
Here, along with all the names.
Okay, MX keys. Okay, MX keys Mini and the MX Remaster. That's a pretty good
Now
pair.
let's talk about
Okay.
how I add some ambiance to this setup and make it aesthetic. And that's through lighting and proper wallpaper choice. During the day, it looks like a regular desk, but at night, when the lights turn on, the vibe changes dramatically. Behind this desk is a LifeX Z light strip, which allows me to change the color to anything I want through my phone or a voice assistant like Google or Alexa. But for this room, I'm leaving it as a static warm white. If you're using a Windows PC and looking for great wallpapers, I'd highly recommend Wallpaper Engine. It's a one-time purchase on Steam, but gives you access to a ton of really cool animated wallpapers created by other Wallpaper Engine users. It's great for landscapes, cars, tech, and anime girls. If you're into that, good for you. But for this setup, we're going for a more chill and inviting vibe, so we're picking wallpapers to match that. Lastly, to make this room techie, I added another LifeX Z light strip to the back of the media console and a LifeX bulb in the lamp, just for consistency and using one app to control an entire room. Just like the strip in the back of the desk, these can all be controlled by voice or through the LifeX app. Lastly, this giant blind. It's massive and is usually a huge pain in the butt to pull it up or down. To fix that, I bought this Aquara E1 blind driver. This enables you to control it with your voice, smartphone, or with a single button.
That's pretty
nice.
nice.
Easily adjust the blind with minimal effort. And with that, the desk and teching out this room was complete. So, how has this setup been for me? It's been a few weeks, but the desk has suited my needs really well. When I'm tired of working in the studio, I switched to this setup for a change.
It's pretty nice.
Vibe. The setup was supposed to be simpler and give off a more naturey, welcoming ambiance than the one I work on in my studio. And I think this desk provides that atmosphere perfectly because it has fewer things to fiddle with and really doesn't look as dark and industrial. Swapping between gaming and productivity gear is also super easy thanks to the USB hub mounted to the front and this pegboard to swap my gear, which if you wanted to learn more about, you can see my wife's video on this room. Yep, that was another shameless plug. As much as this ended up great, I now want to talk about all the things that I would change if I were to redo this. Basically, this is the part where I tell you about all my mess ups so you don't have to have the same experience.
Cool. Let's hear about it.
Desk spaces. Let's start with these standing desk legs right here, right? Most of the known brands like Autonomous, Fully, or Uplift have standing desks that have the motor sitting like this, flat across the bottom of the desk frame. But this compact cheapo desk frame has its motor sitting up and down, preventing me from being able to push my chair all the way in. This might not be a big deal to you, but when it could block a door, like it does here, it's a minor inconvenience and can get annoying really fast. Also, if you buy super long cables, make sure it supports the spec you're looking for at those lengths. For example, I had a 40-foot HDMI cable off Amazon plugged into the 4K monitor that was supposed to support 4K, but the cable would always act all glitchy when plugged in and did not support 4K at that length. I found that DisplayPort cables at long lengths were more reliable than their HDMI counterparts. So if you're looking for long display cables, I'd recommend long DisplayPort cables. I had more success there, at least when buying off Amazon. Then there's this smart blind adapter thing from Aquara. It's really cool, but technically it's not out in the United States yet, and I had to buy it off eBay and use the European version of the Aquara app. That's really not ideal, and I hope they get a US version made soon. Because honestly, it'd be really nice to switch back to the US app and also, you know, have a product under warranty. It was difficult to find something that suited my needs perfectly the way this Aquara E1 blind driver did. Also, when it comes to your monitors, know how big your monitors will be for your desk. This desk is only around 40 inches in length. If I wasn't recycling old monitors, I think I would have gotten 24-inch monitors to sit side by side instead of 27-inch ones with one in front and one awkwardly angled to the side. This chair is also not the best and something I'll have to consider changing out. It doesn't fit the aesthetic of the room or desk setup, and honestly, it isn't even that comfortable to sit at for long periods of time.
Yeah, it doesn't look very comfortable.
I don't know why we haven't gotten rid of them. But if I did get rid of them, I'd probably just end up getting another Herman Miller Aeron chair. And lastly, okay, I guess this is advice for life in general, but plan out what you plan to purchase for that room and plan it out thoroughly. If you just buy things as they come, the aesthetic of it overall may not look exactly the way you hope it to be. You have to take into account everything else that's in the room too, or else you don't want a rainbow puked up setup in one corner while the rest of the room is, I don't know, Texas traditional. But really, that's all the advice that I really have. But yeah, I love how it turned out, and I'm really enjoying using it so far. I hope this video gives you inspiration for your own setups, and I hope you also learn from, well, my own mistakes. It really makes me want to redo my studio setup now. Because now, even though this setup is just so much simpler, it kind of feels nicer to be in, which is the vibe I don't want because I want the studio to be the one that feels nice to be in, if that makes sense. Anyway,
that makes sense.
What do you personally think? Did you get any inspiration for your own setups? What are you currently doing for your setup? What do you think this setup right here is missing? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and, well, subscribe because I may be redoing the studio one now. I'll see you all next time.
Okay, so let's talk about the setup. All right, let's find a good picture for it. Okay, so this is how it looks, right? Okay, so my advice, since he's reusing gear, right? Reusing gear. Okay, so he's reusing gear, so we gotta take that in consideration. He doesn't want to buy you know, too much other gear and stuff like that. So what I think he could have done is he could put this monitor arm right next here or center the monitor arm along with this monitor arm. Yeah, I think he could either put this monitor arm right here closer and clamp it here closer to this monitor arm to sort of hide it in a way, or what he could do is center this monitor arm and have this monitor arm centered, which I personally think might make it look nicer. And then he could, instead of have this monitor at the right side, right, he could have mounted it above, push this monitor down slightly, have this monitor maybe have a dual monitor arm, and maybe mount it right on top. I think that could be one of the options. Another option is that he could have this monitor mounted right here, since it, you know, it won't block whatever is right here, in my personal opinion. But you know, aside from that, I think the cable management is done pretty well. I will probably move this USB hub, you know, underneath the desk, and also mount maybe this what do you call it, this thing right here underneath the desk as well, so that it gives off a more sort of cleaner look in a sense, and maybe an RGB sort of light around the monitor and stuff like that, to just give off some, you know, some nice like orange glow, or some nice white light or stuff like that. But you know, yeah, but that is my opinion on his desk setup. As you said, you know, what do you think of his desk setup? You know, I personally think it's really nice. Maybe there are a few, you know, small changes that I personally think that he could have done to make it look even nicer for little to from free to even like not much money at all. And yeah, I'm really excited to see his studio setup, and you know, if he releases it, I will definitely go check it out. But you know, what do you think? What do you personally think of his setup? You know, and if you like these types of videos, make sure to drop me a like to let me know, and comment down below, you know, whose setup you like me to check out next, and I'll be sure to do so. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you like to help support me and what I do completely for free. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.